Hey everyone! So, a video from the Tucker Carlson network has been making some serious waves online. It's packed with some pretty explosive claims about how Christians are being treated in the Holy Land. In this explainer, we're going to walk through the main arguments from that video, piece by piece, just to understand the case it's presenting.
So this is the big question, right? It's right at the heart of the source material. The video basically alleges this whole pattern of persecution that it claims is being completely ignored by most of us in the West. So let's dig into the evidence it actually uses to back all of this up.
Okay, so the source does not pull any punches. It comes right out of the gate with these incredibly direct and frankly shocking allegations. It's claiming that the attacks on Christian sites and people aren't accidents. It says they are intentional acts carried out by the Israeli military. This really sets the tone for everything that follows.
All right, so here's the roadmap. The source builds its case in 5 main parts. First, it talks about specific attacks. Then it tries to get into the why, claiming it's about desecrating religious symbols. From there, it looks at how local Christians feel, then connects it all to American funding, and wraps up with a call to action.
Okay, let's dive into that first section. The video starts its case by laying out a list of specific, physical attacks against what it identifies as Christian targets.
So, the source lists several different military actions that it says were taken by the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF. We're talking about churches in Gaza being bombed multiple times, a mother and daughter being killed by sniper fire inside a churchyard, and even tanks reportedly firing at a cross and bulldozing a statue. And then the source argues that there's this predictable pattern to how these incidents are handled officially. It lays out this 4-step cycle. First, there's a denial. Then, once there's proof, it's acknowledged. Step 3, it gets called an accident. And finally, step 4, no one is ever actually punished for it.
So the video just puts this question out there directly to the audience. It's basically asking you to consider, could a modern military with all this advanced technology really keep accidentally hitting churches and killing Christian civilians over and over again?
So the video doesn't just list these attacks. It then tries to explain the motivation behind them, kind of shifting from the what to the why.
And this is a really key part of the argument. The source claims these incidents aren't just random military mistakes. It says they come from a deeper attitude, which it describes as a loathing of Christianity that it claims is held by a significant number of Israelis. Now, to support this idea, the source brings up a very specific, kind of strange example. It claims that in some Israeli religious schools, they don't use the plus sign in math class because it looks too much like a cross. And then it draws this direct parallel, saying the only other place they've seen that happen is in ISIS-run madrasas. Then they put this number up, 61. This, according to the video, is the number of physical assaults against Christians, mostly clergy, that were documented in Jerusalem in just 1 year. And the source makes a point to say that this statistic comes from a Jewish-Israeli group. The video gives even more examples to back up its claim. It talks about common harassment like priests being spit on or churches being defaced. It also brings up a video that apparently shows Israeli soldiers inside a church filming themselves mocking Christian traditions and claims that none of them faced any consequences. Okay, so how do the local Christian communities actually see all this? The video then shifts focus to their perspective, and it argues that it's probably not what most people in the West would think. And the source makes this really direct claim, which it says is based on polling data. It says that Christian Arabs consistently identify the Israeli government and settlers, not their Muslim neighbors, as the biggest threat to their communities. All right, now we get to a really critical part of the argument. This is where the source connects everything that's allegedly happening over there with funding from the United States. So to get their argument here, we first have to understand a term they use a lot, Christian Zionism. The way the video defines it, it's a belief, mainly held by American evangelicals, that the Bible commands them to support the modern state of Israel. So here's the 3-step logic they lay out. 1, American Christian Zionists give huge political support to Israel. 2, that support is what drives billions of dollars in U.S. aid to the Israeli government. And 3, and this is the real kicker, the source claims that these very same supporters are mostly in the dark about the persecution their funds might be helping to enable. So after laying out this whole problem and what it sees as the root cause, the video doesn't just end. It wraps up with a very direct and very specific call to action for its audience. And I mean, it's super specific. The video tells its American viewers to take this exact action. It names a top politician and even gives them a script
turning this big, complex issue into a concrete political step.
So ultimately, the video lays out this clear game plan for its viewers to try and influence U.S. policy. It's a bottom-up approach. Christian leaders should talk to people on the ground, church members should get informed, and then they should all call their elected officials with one unified message.
And that pretty much brings us to the end of this breakdown. After going through the source's claims of persecution, its theories about the cause, and its proposed solution, we're left with this one final, pretty challenging question that it puts to its audience. What is the responsibility of a funder? And that really is the core of the whole argument being presented.